Hi, welcome to Hannity, and we start tonight a Fox News alert. You are not dreaming. This is not some horrific nightmare. At this hour, the Schumer Schiff-Sham show. By the way, try and say that 3 times fast. We're not on a delay. National TV. It's kind of going up to bat. There's no net, and I'm on the high wire. Anyway, it's still going on, but I have a lot of good news we start with tonight. None of this will matter because in 286 days, we, the American people, I can report tonight, will be the ultimate jury in all of this. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future. I'm Irish, always worried the next bomb is coming. The election is never easy for a Republican. You have to thread the needle. I'm going to go through why I think the president's in a very good position, but you have the power in 286 days to shock the world again. You are, the American people, I can report tonight, the ultimate jury. And coming up tonight, we're going to show you a major new poll puts the president way ahead of every opponent in one very key important state. First, in case you were hard at work, like most Americans today, and taking care of your families and paying your taxes and obeying the laws, well, here's what you missed from today's Schumer Schiff-Sham show charade. Whew, made it again. We learned absolutely nothing new today, not one new piece of information. Instead, we got hours and hours and hours literally of the compromised, corrupt, congenital liar, Adam Schiff. Wow. Never-ending, nonstop, feigned moral outrage. From, frankly, watching him today, he is a lunatic. If you watched him today, well, he was totally unhinged. He looked like a lunatic who's lost his mind, babbling, repeating over and over and over and over again incoherently. I suspect this guy must talk in his sleep. Russia, Trump, Russia, quid, pro, quo, impeach, impeach, impeach. He's like having a psychotic meltdown for the entire world to see, and his champions in the media, he's so good. I'm like, okay, that's why nobody watches your shows. And worst of all, he's monotonous, repetitive, boring. For 3 long, horrific hours, he waged the single most crooked, lying, dishonest smear campaign, the likes of which, even for Washington, took my breath away. He is a national disgrace, stain on the Democratic Party, a walking, talking, lying con man, a perfect representation of everything that is wrong in the D.C. swamp. Here's just a small sample of his neurosis, psychosis, mental breakdown today.
That is an attempt to use the powers of the presidency to cheat in an election. For precisely this reason, the president's misconduct cannot be decided at the ballot box. In other words, to cheating in an election. They knew what it was like to live under a despot. In 2016, then candidate Trump implored Russia to hack his opponent's email accounts. When the president said, hey, Russia, if you're listening, they were listening. Russians. It's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, right word of the day. That is the guy the Democrats want you to trust? Really? Every time this man for over 3 years has opened his mouth, he's lied. And not just last night, not just today. Schiff got caught in another major lie, another one. As it turns out, Politico reporting, he completely mischaracterized the sketchy new evidence that Democrats tacked on the articles of impeachment in the 29th hour. Add to that all the major lies. We've been telling you about them all. We've shown you again and again. And you have to ask, why on earth, and I don't think anybody does, trust this, well, psychotic hack. Now, we all know about his Russia collusion, fixation, hoax, lies. He wrote a whole report. Devin Nunes told you the truth completely. We know about his FISA abuse lie. We know about him lying about the president's phone call with Zelensky. We know he lied about the fake so-called hearsay whistleblower. We'd love to hear from him. Well, his whole team was communicating with the hearsay whistleblower from the get-go. And speaking of which, breaking tonight, Paul Sperry, wow, big blockbuster breaking news, real clear investigations. He has now dropped a major bombshell on the psychotic and lying congenital liar. According to his damning new report, the deep state whistleblower, who was working closely with Schiff's office, that's why he's compromised in this case, was overheard only 2 weeks after Donald Trump was inaugurated, scheming with another fellow Obama holdover in the White House how to remove the duly elected president from office. Wow, I'd say it's time for another investigation. Now, that was 3 years ago in 2017, days after President Trump was just sworn into office. Your president, you elected him, we elected him, the people. You see what's happening here? All of this charade is now playing out in the swamp and the sewer in Capitol Hill. It has nothing to do with the president's phone call with Ukraine. They never mentioned aid. Aid was never withheld, or any foreign election interference. The only real interference was Hillary Clinton's bought and paid for, debunked Russian dirty dossier. New York Times even said, oh, yeah, that was likely Russian disinformation from the get-go. Media got it all wrong. We got it right, thankfully, on this show with a great team behind the scenes and our ensemble cast. Talk about abuse of power, obstruction of Congress. No, this is now a culmination. This is where it's serious. This is hurting the country. A years-long political scheme seeking revenge to prevent the president's re-election in 286 days. Now, tonight, if Democrats, if they're really concerned with election interference, you need to look no further than in a mirror, because the Schumer Schiff-Sham show is just their latest attempt to reclaim power at any cost. They haven't done anything for you, we the people. What have they done? They even complain when we take out the #1 state sponsor of terror who's killed hundreds of Americans. Even that, Donald Trump cured cancer. What have I always said? They'd impeach him for that. Yesterday's stream of never-ending, monotonous, dull, boring, redundant talking points. Can you imagine 24 hours of this Schiff coming up? You know, they had these procedural votes. We covered it last night. What were these votes about? We knew each side would have 24 hours, just like in the Clinton case. We knew that there'd be 16 hours of questions, just like in the Clinton case. And we knew that after that was all done, then we'd have a vote on witnesses. But they went vote after vote. We need witnesses that we never subpoenaed in the House who has the sole power to impeach. You know what that was? That was a political play as well. This is all an act, a show that they're putting on for the American people in prime time. And there was Schumer trying to get swing state senators, Joni Ernst, Cory Gardner, Susan Collins. They want to tie them into a vote so then they can run negative ads to try and beat them and get power back so they can give us a $94 trillion new Green Deal, and they can give us a $52 trillion Medicare for all. We only take in $4 trillion a year. Somebody please give them an abacus or a computer or a calculator so they can actually do the math, because they can never fulfill those promises. How did Obamacare keep your doctor plan and save $2,500 a year per family workout? These are promises that are unsustainable, that can never be fulfilled. This is about their power. They want power back. They don't like it. Donald Trump, this is what draining the swamp looks like. They want now, they're desperate. They want all three branches of government so they can finally pass, Medicare for all. The $94 trillion new Green Deal. No oil and gas, no combustion engine, no cows or planes. Everything's free. That will bankrupt our great country and turn our country into a socialist hellhole. Remember, when we had Biden and Obama for 8 years, we had 13 million more Americans on food stamps, 8 million more in poverty, lowest labor participation rate since the 70s, and the worst recovery since the 40s. Look at every record this president has made in 3 years. He's now just begun his 4th year in office. But because their ideas are failures, guaranteed, mathematically impossible to fulfill, well, Democrats are following the Al Green playbook. They're weaponizing the political system with dirty political tricks, lies, propaganda, misinformation. They've done nothing in 3 long years except hate the president. Now we have had to endure and suffer and witness over the past 48 hours House managers and their Democratic allies in the Senate. It's repulsive, it's sickening, it's hurting the country. Then just after midnight, well, President Trump's White House counsel, Pat Cipollone, ripped them to shreds, says they deserved, and I would have more words for them. I'll never be allowed in that room. Take a look.
Mr. Nadler came up here and made false allegations against our team. He made false allegations against all of you. He accused you of a cover-up. The only one who should be embarrassed, Mr. Nadler, is you, for the way you've addressed this body. This is the United States Senate. You're not in charge here. It's about time we bring this power trip in for a landing. Mr. Nadler, you owe an apology to the President of the United States and his family. You owe an apology to the Senate. But most of all, you owe an apology to the American people.
Mr. Cipollone, I've known you a long time. You're a brilliant lawyer. You, Jay Sekulow, your team's been amazing. Don't hold your breath. Earlier today, the president had this to say about his attorney's powerful moment. Also had a few choice words for the Democratic impeachment managers. The president was in Davos, where all the world leaders were sucking up to him, the envy of the free world, because we have the defining growing economy. And they don't want this president, because they take him seriously, going after better trade deals with their country. So they're trying to play nice in the sandbox with your president, because there's a deep respect and belief that what he means, what he says he means, and he'll do. Take a look.
Gerald Nadler, I've known him a long time. He's a sleazebag. Everybody knows that. Pat Cipollone is a high-quality human being. I was very impressed with Pat. He had great emotion yesterday. Pat's a brilliant guy, but I've never seen that emotion, and that's real emotion. That's because he knows this is a hoax. And I was very proud of the job he did.
I'm assuming the president probably had like an hour and a half sleep, and he gave a great press conference. I watched the whole thing this morning. I don't sleep much either, but Mike Lindell's My Pillow does help. Now, I'm told my Cracker Jack staff, Adam Schiff is again, he's back doing it more. Now, if I was a terrible host, I would force you to endure watching the regurgitation, the repetition. You can put it up for a second. Just put it up. The insanity that has gone on all day. America, 24 hours of never-ending, babbling, repetitive talking points over what was nothing. And, by the way, remember we sent the new evidence about Lev Parnas over to the Senate in the 29th hour? In that letter, he said, oh, Joe, quid pro quo Joe, and Hunter, zero experience Hunter, who paid millions, got the prosecutor fired. They did nothing wrong. Really? Okay, keep talking to yourself. No matter what happens in the coming days, always remember Congressman Jim Jordan's 4 irrefutable facts. They will never change. You will join us. 1, we have a transcript of the phone conversation the president released, actually 2 phone conversations with him and President Zelensky. Aid was never mentioned. There was never any linkage between Biden, U.S. aid, and the call. Number 2, Jim Jordan, both Trump and President Zelensky said there was no pressure, zero pressure, linkage whatsoever. They've said it numerous times, including the foreign minister of Ukraine. 3, this is an important one. The time of the call, Ukraine didn't know the aid was even paused. Now, while the president didn't talk about aid, he did say, now you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of bad people like your predecessor. That's not good. He's looking out for your tax dollars. Do us a favor, America, Ukraine. Okay, if you interfered, we know Russia interfered. Devin Nunes, they should have listened to him in 2014. But if your Ukrainian court in Politico, January 11, 2017, is correct, well, they have a chronology of election interference. Ukraine was involved, and you need to get to the bottom of that. Well, for 3 years, Democrats said foreign election interference is bad. By the way, number 4, Jim Jordan's hits. The Ukrainians took no action, nothing, to get the aid released. There was no announcement of any investigation into Biden, no promise of any investigation. We have the letters, the invitation of Zelensky to come to the White House. The aid was released on time, actually early for some of it. And there's one other point. There were 5 high-level meetings after that call, including the vice president. At not one of those meetings did anyone ever talk about aid. The only one fact witness, that would be Ambassador Sondland. He said, yeah, the president said, I don't want anything, no quid pro quo, just, don't be corrupt. Still, Democrats claim their case is overwhelming for impeachment. Now, if that were true, they wouldn't need the Senate now to do what is constitutionally their job and look for, we need new evidence, and we need to subpoena witnesses we didn't bother to subpoena because we were in an urgent rush before Christmas was to go on vacation and then hide it for another couple of weeks. It was such a danger to our democratic republic. Now, Democrats have nothing, had nothing. They're at the end of the road. And as I said at the top of the show, thank God, I am happy about one thing. American people, you will render the ultimate verdict. Now, you have people like Liberal Joe over there at the Conspiracy Channel saying that, well, maybe Hannity lives in a bubble. There's no chance Donald Trump could win. Okay, if that's the case, I lived with Obama for 8 years. But I would like to see America and every record continue. I would like to see guys like Soleimani, Baghdadi, and the ISIS caliphate continue to be wiped out. I would like to see the continuation of record numbers, low unemployment numbers, the best since 1969, continue for our fellow Americans, every demographic, African Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, women in the workplace, youth unemployment. I'd like that to continue. I don't want to go back to the horrific Obama-Biden years. I don't want to be bribing mullahs with $150 billion in cash and other currency. All of this is politics. They want power back for what? To destroy the economy again and bribe dictators again and mullahs again? Now, there is one barometer that we pay attention to in this business, and thankfully, you give me this camera every night that's right in front of me. You give me a microphone for 3 hours a day. Now, the only way I continue to work is if you watch and listen. Well, there were TV ratings from last night's coverage, so-called trial of the century, day one. Well, minor increases across the board. Minor. Wasn't a lot of interest like they thought. As a matter of fact, CBS has actually ended their impeachment coverage early today. By the way, thank you for making us #1 last night and the last number of years. Thank you. I can't do it without you. But CBS did it because they wanted their regularly scheduled daytime soap operas back. They make money on those. And meanwhile, the president, he was doing what he always does. He was in Europe conducting important business. Over the last 3 years, Democrats in the media and the mob, their state-run TV propagandists, well, they raged. The president, he's been a busy man. Here's a brief recap of what he's accomplished in less than one term. Let's take a look.
The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. Every decision will be made to benefit American workers and American families. America will start winning again, winning like never before. I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down. Do not allow anyone to tell you that it cannot be done. No challenge can match the heart and fight and spirit of America. We will not fail. Our country will thrive and prosper again. Your voice, your hopes, and your dreams will define our American destiny. When America is united, America is totally unstoppable.
I saw Dan Schiavo, who works for the president, tweeted that out, and everything in there is true. The do-nothing Democrats have done nothing. But in the president's case, promises made, promises kept. All Americans are now winning. I'm not sick of winning.